The Fed and Jerome Powell just completely changed the game, folks. I got to take you through what happened here today. Now, what I'm going to take you through is three specific things that happened that Jerome Powell basically talked about and the Fed is going over right now. These three things are being missed by so many folks out there. And when you listen to the Fed, it's very important you understand their language, which they speak in code. Okay, these folks speak in code. If you just are trying to decipher what they're saying by the actual words, you're not deciphering it. They're speaking in a code, okay? And you know, the 1% of the 1%, they kind of understand this code. And so if you're wondering why the market was rallying huge today, I'm going to take you through the three main points why this market was rallying huge. And you really have to kind of understand the code language these folks speak with to understand why the market rallied so heavily today. And I'll take you through all three pieces of that here today. It was an absolutely incredible day in the market. I hope you made a ton of money. I know I certainly did. And obviously, later tonight, I'm going to talk about Meta. I'm going to talk about ELF. Those are two very important positions for me personally, and they're skyrocketing after hours. So I will speak about both those, not in this video. It will be later tonight, somewhere between maybe like 5:30 Pacific time and maybe 7 Pacific time. I'll do a full video. I want to listen to both the conference calls before I go ahead and release that video, and especially the Meta one, obviously. So that will be coming later. This one's just really focused on the Fed and what's going on in the markets out there. Okay, and by the way, if you're looking to join my private stock group and apply to join my private wealth group, that will be linked in the description area. Also, my Patreon is linked in the description area. I appreciate everybody that supports on there, and you get to see all the stocks I am buying and selling in there as well. Okay, so first off, the market. Okay, as soon as the decision was made, initial down and then straight up as the press conference was going along. Oh my gosh. Okay, and you know, you can see a clear correlation. When the press conference was kind of just starting, the Dow was actually down close to 500 points. Close to 500 points as the press conference was starting to roll along. And then as Jerome Powell talked more and more, as the folks that are in the press got to ask him questions, next thing you know, the Dow reversed almost a 500-point decline into green territory in less than 20 minutes. In less than 20 minutes. Absolutely extraordinary to see that sort of move for the market. Check out this next thing, okay? This is going to blow your mind. Look at the moves of the green today. But do you notice anything? Do you notice anything? You should notice something, okay? Here's stocks I personally own. And check it out. Look at all the stocks that are seen as my riskiest stocks. They were all the ones that moved up the most today, right? The Fubos, the Oatleys, all my riskiest plays, they all were the ones that skyrocketed the most, which shows you risk on, right? And these are the ones that if you stay in a risk on market are going to obviously fly to the moon, right? And look at my worst performing stocks today, right? Look at the only ones that were red. JP Morgan and Pfizer, my only stocks that were red today, which are usually be seen as my least risky stocks, right? And so it goes to show you that in a risk on market, what actually does well and what actually does bad, right? And look at my big tech watch list. This is my big tech watch list. Check it out. Do you notice anything here? You should notice something, okay? What is seen as the riskiest plays of big tech, right? AMD, Nvidia, Snowflake, Tesla. Those ones climbed the most today. They had the most tremendous day. Look at Tesla over 180 now. Oh man, the shorts are not liking these moves time after time again, right? Their put options are expiring worthless by the second. And look at these stocks that perform the least today. Or usually Palo Alto Networks, Apple, Google. These are usually stocks that are kind of seen as the, let's call it least risky of the big techs, right? Those stocks couldn't, do much today. They couldn't even keep up with the market, right? You want to see something else? Look at this, okay? Look at oil and gas stocks. On a great day for the market, people making tons of money. And what are the oil and gas stocks doing? Down across the board, which goes to show you something very important. It is showing you that folks are rotating money, starting to rotate money out of these stocks. And where are they rotating it? Into the plays I just showed you, the AMDs, the NVIDIAs. They're starting to move money out of these and into those, right? Because it is a different market. And if you understand what the Fed was saying here today, you understand how the Fed's kind of changing the game here. And I'll go through those 3 points in just a moment. But that is very, very important. Now, you want some great news? I got some great news for you, okay? If we haven't had enough great news already in this video. Look at this. This is tremendous, okay? you got to understand, one of the biggest reasons, it wasn't the only reason, it wasn't the biggest reason, but one of the biggest reasons why we had such insane inflation in like the spring and the summer of this past year was because commodities went through this ridiculous, unsustainable like bull cycle. Okay, in 2022. And commodities literally went to the moon. And this was a huge component of why we saw insane inflation numbers in the springtime and in the summertime, okay? And it was far worse than really anybody expected. The Fed expected, any investors, Wall Street, anybody. Because these commodities climbed to the moon. Like you could pull up almost any commodity and look at it where it started 2022 and look at it, 3 months into the year, 6 months into the year, and they had all skyrocketed. But these babies have all started to fall off a cliff, right? And so this is phenomenal news that even on a day like today where the market starts to skyrocket, you see stocks moving up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%. You see risk on, but we don't see any activity in commodities that says, oh, commodities are ready to go risk on, okay? That is great news, okay? Now, the public account had a phenomenal day today, right? Almost a $44,000 up day in the public account. Okay, I remember when I first started working at Quick Trip, they started me off at $40K a year, right? And that was tremendous. And now to just have one of my accounts at a $43,000 gain, $44,000 gain in a day is unbelievable, right? It's a blessing, and I never take that for granted. Of what we've worked so hard for the past 15 years to climb to these sorts of numbers is incredible, right? And this account, I mean, it's for the past month, it has been just tremendous. This is an account that, I mean, it got slammed in 2022. Just, it seemed like nothing could go right? And it was just like, oh my gosh, can we get anything to go right with this account? But obviously, fortunes have changed here, and this account is up, $300,000 plus, really, just in the past month. Just in the past month for this one account, right? Never mind all the other accounts. So, absolutely tremendous kind of what's going on. And by the way, this public account, you can see every single move I've ever made in that account and ever will make in the future in that account by joining the private stock group and applying to join us in there, because every single move I ever make, buy, and sell, I post inside the private stock group. So once again, that's in the description area if you're looking to join us, okay? Let's go through the Fed and the code they're kind of talking about here, okay? The first one of these three is what I call kind of like the Fed kind of letting the market know what their feeling is here, okay? And the fact is, the Fed did not necessarily say we've won the game, but the Fed did come out and say we are winning the game, okay? We haven't won it, but we're winning. And maybe we're in the third quarter right now, and we're starting to win this game now, okay? Which is a huge change of tone. And basically how they, kind of, let's call it out to the market, is they said disinflation has started. And this is really the first time Jay Powell's really gone out there, Jerome Powell, and really gone on this. And he said this at least a few times during the press conference and whatnot. Disinflation has started, which basically means that inflation is starting to fall, right? And that's clear. We've seen it in the numbers. But the fact that he calls that out shows us that he is basically saying we're starting to win this game now. We haven't won it. The game's not over, but we're starting to win it. And that's huge for the market. That is absolutely massive. That's a vote of confidence that the Fed's on the right track here, and they're confident they're going to be able to win this game, and this whole process has started out. That was so big for the market. I can't, it's hard to even put into words. If you just want to know how big that was for the market, look at the move from the market, right? When they heard that was massive. The second thing is, okay, and this was him kind of talking in code. He didn't say this specifically, but if you understand kind of his word choice he was using, this is essentially what he said, okay? And basically what it was is he left the door open for cutting or stopping raising rates if the data comes in, okay? And without saying that, he basically said that, okay? And so this is a huge moment for the market, because here's the thing. If we see inflation continue to come down over these next few months, it's very clear that the Fed is either going to stop raising rates or potentially even cut rates within the matter of months, not years, within the matter of months, within the next 3 to 6 months, if the data comes in. He definitely kept saying we're data dependent, right? Which is basically him saying that, whatever the data comes in at, that's the move we're going to make. If inflation comes way down, we're going to stop raising rates, we're going to cut rates, right? That's basically what he was saying. And if it comes in hot, we're going to keep raising, And so for the market, to at least have that opening there that, oh gosh, the Fed's actually close to stopping if the data comes in, right? And they will, like, absolutely. If all of a sudden you see, inflation numbers in terms of CPI start to come down to the 5s and the 4s, and that CPI is not the only numbers they look at. That's just one component of that. But if you see the CPI start to come down to the 5s and the 4s over the springtime and into the summertime, and then the 3s, they're 100% they're going to stop raising rates, and they'll start eventually cutting rates, especially if they see any real weakness in the labor market. They'll use that as a period to start cutting rates at that point in time. Okay, and so that's a huge. He left that door open, man. It doesn't get bigger than that. Okay, third component. This was insane. Okay. And I'll take this a step further in just a moment and show you an illustration of kind of what I mean here, okay? But the third thing was he talks about, he mentioned this specifically. This was his exact quote. This wasn't like you had to decipher this. He's talking about a couple more rate increases. So that shows us really what Jerome Powell's really thinking. I don't think he really wanted that to slip. He was very disciplined in the press conference, but he did let that slip. And he did say, hey, we're talking about a couple more quarter point rate increases. That's not much, because basically the question was in regards to, like, you guys have done so much. Do you really need to keep raising rates? And kind of like pushing back on that, like, why do you need to keep raising rates? And he basically said, all we got is a couple more rate increase, or he said all we're talking about is a couple more rate increases. So that shows you where Jerome Powell's mind really is, which is he's viewing this as maybe 2 more 25 basis point moves. That's nothing. That's literally nothing. When the Fed's been raising 75 basis points, 75 basis points, 75 basis points, and now you're talking about maybe 2 more 25 basis point moves, that's literally nothing. And that's just more of like, wow, now we really know how Jerome Powell's thinking. And he didn't slip up much in that press conference. I can tell you that. He did a very good job of staying disciplined, because, everybody's, that's the 1% of the 1%. They're paying attention to every single word choice he's using, okay? Every single word choice. They're deciphering it. They're going through it. And he did a great job of not really slipping up. He talked in code a few times that kind of let us know where he's really going, right? But he didn't really do a direct slip up. That was a direct slip up when he says a couple more rate increases. We're talking about a couple more rate increases, 25 basis points. That was epic, okay? Absolutely epic that he slipped up there. And that was just a pure slip up. Now, I'll put it to you like this, okay? So every once in a while, I actually personally mop the floors of the house, okay? Yes, I'm not too good to do that. Sometimes I even clean a toilet, okay? Don't judge me, all right? So when I do this job, it takes me a while, okay? It's not like I'm not a professional mopper nowadays, so it takes me quite a while to get this job done, right? But nonetheless, at some point in time, I start getting down here, and I start feeling really good about myself, because I'm like, oh man, the job's almost done, and this is a great feeling. And what I just described to you is exactly what the market feels, and exactly kind of what the Fed feels here. They've mopped all this, they mopped all in here, they mopped all this floor, and all they got left is this little portion back here, okay? And that's the way the Fed's viewing this, and that's the way the market participants are viewing this. There's a little bit left here. It's not too much. We're getting close to being done. And from a psychological perspective on the market, it's everything, okay? It is everything in this market. And that's why you saw Wall Street buy up stocks left and right as that press conference was going along, because he slipped up one time, and he kind of let a few other things out if you just kind of decipher through the language there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate every single person that joins me for the channel and to subscribe to the channel. Meta and Elf, we'll talk about those tonight. Huge stuff going on there. If you're looking to join my private stock group, private wealth group, and apply for that, check out the description. Also, my Patreon's in the description as well. Have a great day. Peace.